Good day, everyone. Our topic for today is all about understanding regression analysis. But before that, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel and hit the bell button for more updates. And also, you will find different subjects in this YouTube channel by clicking the playlist section. Now, let's proceed to our lesson for today, which is all about understanding regression analysis. Regression analysis is used when predicting the behavior of a variable. The regression equation explains the amount of variation observable in the independent variable x. It is actually an equation of a straight line in a form. So yung regression analysis, ginagamit siya para ma-predict mo yung isang variable. Halimbawa, kapag ba mataam, mataas ang level ng kanyang mathematical anxiety, for instance, may takot siya sa math. Kapag mataas ang level niya sa mathematical anxiety, ibig sabihin ba may probability na siya ay babagsak sa math? Or kapag ba mataas ang level ng kanyang self-efficacy o yung kanyang confidence pagdating sa math, ibig sabihin ba ay mataas ang chance na siya ay papasa sa math or mataas ang makukuha niyang score sa math? So that is regression analysis. It is all about predicting the behavior of the variable. In correlation and regression analysis, it is important that the independent and independent variable are correctly identified to make correct conclusion. So dapat alam mo what is independent and the dependent variable. Interchanging these two variables most of the time renders the scatter plots and correlation coefficient meaningless. How can the independent and dependent variables be identified? First, a dependent variable is a value that is affected when the value of the independent variable changes. So lagi siyang nakadepende sa independent variable. Using the same example on the test of the effect of room temperature on the attention span of students, the dependent variable is the attention span of the students, which means the attention span of the students depends on the room temperature. The attention span of the students is affected whether there is a manipulation of the independent variable, which is the room temperature. So, kapag yung minanipulate mo yung room temperature, halimbawa, ginawa mo malamig yung room temperature, ano yung magiging attention span ng mga estudyante kapag mainit, okay? Kapag mahangin, etc. So, the independent variable is usually represented by the variable y. The independent variable is a value that the researcher can freely change to test its effect on the dependent variable. So, ito yung pwede mong galawin. Ito yung pwede mong palitan. Okay? Pwede kang gumawa ng experimentation using this independent variable. Pwedeng dalawa, tatlo, ikaw ang bahala. For instance, a researcher wants to test the effect of the room temperature on the attention span of the student. The independent variable is the room temperature. The researcher can freely change the temperature of the air conditioning unit every day to see its effect on the attention span of the students. The variable x usually represents the independent variable. However, in some cases, an independent variable can be a value that is arbitrary or readily available to the researcher, thus the researcher cannot technically manipulate the values. So remember the DRY-MIX acronym. D is the dependent variable, R is the responding variable, Y is the axis on which the dependent or the responding variable is graphed, the vertical axis. M is a manipulated variable or the one that is changed in an experiment. I is the independent variable. X is the axis on which the independent variable is graphed, the horizontal axis. The independent and dependent variable cannot be interchanged. The attention span of students cannot be manipulated freely. Likewise, the room temperature cannot be dependent variable as a result of the change in the attention of students or attention span of the students. However, some variables from real life data are not easy to figure out. There may be data that would look like every variable is an independent variable. Thus, a researcher should correctly identify the independent and the dependent variable. Scatter plots. Regression analysis requires interval and ratio level data or continuous these are continuous data. To see if your data fits the model of regression, it is wise to conduct a scatter plot. The reason? Regression analysis assumes a linear relationship. If you have a curvy linear relationship or no relationship, regression analysis is of little use. So these are the example of lines of the regressions. So we have for this one, this is no correlation because it is a scatter plot. This one is negative. Okay? So kasi pababa yung kanyang relationship. So that's negative relation. This one is positive kasi pataas siya. This one is curvilinear relationship. So these two usually has no correlation at all. This negative correlation and this is the positive correlation. This one is a linear relationship. It is a positive relationship because it's going upward. A population with BAs increase, so does the personal income per capita increase also. So ito yun. Okay, this is a sample. A percent of population with bachelor's degree by personal income per capita. Okay, now this one, the regression line in the best straight to line description of the plotted points and can use it to describe the association between the variable. If all the lines fall exactly on the line then the line is zero and you have a perfect relationship. Things to remember. Regressions are still focuses on association, not causation. Association is necessary prerequisite for inferring causation, but also the independent variable must precede the dependent variable in time. The two variables must be plausibly lined by a theory. Competing independent variables must be eliminated. The regression coefficient is not good indicator for the strength of the relationship. Two scatter plots with very different dispersion could produce the same regression line. The regression coefficient is the slope of the regression line and tells you what the nature of the relationship between the variable is. How much change in the independent variable is associated with how much change in the dependent variable. The larger the regression coefficient, the more change. So that's all about understanding regression coefficient. With that, thank you very much for listening. Our next video is all about solving regression analysis. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel and hit the bell button for more updates. Good day.